And a number of items going on in Imo State, the indications of politics and the lack of faith are some of the issues on the table this morning with Bob Njamanze, who is an elder statesman in Imo State. He joins us virtually. Good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, first of all, what is your understanding or your reading of the developments, particularly politically, in the country today, generally? I mean, you've been observing things, you've been around for long enough to know what we have done right or not, how we have progressed generally as a people, be it in the northern part of the country or the southern part. We'll focus on the southeast shortly, but what's your reading of the general atmosphere of the polity?
That's a very tough and difficult thing to get into. Because as far as I'm concerned, we haven't really set up any direction, no trajectory. But we have to live with it because we've been managing this kind of situation even before now. So that will be talking generally as if I was a politician. I'm not, but I could be political. We have a very difficult situation in the country. Now, the same people who seem to want to correct the ills in the society are the ones manipulating the society. So where do you go from there? It's a situation where we try to survive individually, possibly independently. Let the devil take the last person.
You know, you said something interesting, sir. You said we haven't quite set a trajectory. That would be speaking like, you know, maybe as a nation. For how far back would you say that we have lacked that trajectory as a people? Is this since independence or since this Fourth Republic began?
If I go back to independence, then we'll have been talking completely about Nigeria, and a lot of things were right, a lot of things were wrong. I want to limit myself to what we've been through in the recent past. In that recent past, we haven't had any direction. Honestly, it is where you take your benefit from that you think you derive the best of the administration or association. I'm scared because we wake up, we're told something, and the next minute, something totally different. Completely, I don't want to blame the media for it. No, they are doing their job. They have no alternative. But we have a situation here where somebody comes up with something you think is so factual, something you think can never happen, and you just hear it over the air. This man who did not buy forms for election is now elected to occupy this particular position. And you say, can it be true? It wasn't like that before. And you stay there and see that it is true. The people you imagine should challenge such situations. You see them clapping. Look, a governor's mistake has become style. It's not criticized. The mistake a governor makes is style. And they tell you that is his own style, that is his own way of doing things. So where are we? Where do we go from there? How do we set a trajectory? It's not possible.
It raises the question of who should be challenging some of these issues you have raised, but maybe we'll talk about that some other time. Let's focus a little more on the southeast now, sir. There have been conversations and counter-conversations, claims and counter-claims about whether or not there's been some development in the 5 states of the southeast in terms of security, and which should help the process and progress of development in the southeast. What's your reading of it? We understand that, okay, in some areas there's still the sit-at-home still active. In other areas there are no, the sit-at-home is totally obliterated. What is your take on the current development in terms of security and development in the Southeast? And what do you think is lacking in terms of gaps?
It's not just the Southeast. Until we return powers the way it should be, and when I mean powers, to the police as it ought to, we'll be deceiving ourselves talking about security. You see, from the time the funds they call security vote was created, which I thought perhaps when Obasanjo was exiting, he would have made sure that the security vote is returned to the various police commands and create a welfare fund for the governors. But the security vote is so tempting that it's been domiciled there, which was something that was created when the government was in the hands of the military. And you don't expect a military governor to be sitting in a Security Council where the...
Oh dear, I thought maybe that connection, we've lost it for a bit. Hopefully we'll get it back, because it is, well, while that conversation is going on, it's important to understand better what the elder statement is saying, when it says that we need to restore. Okay, well, sir, thank you. We lost connection with you for a moment, but I'd like you to expatiate a little further on what you said, what you mean when you say that we need to return power to the police. In what way would you say that that power had been taken away from the police?
Once the security vote was removed from the police, they got castrated. Look, and this happened because the security vote was sent to the governors. Because at the point in time, the governors were military, and it was military government. Now, when things go wrong today, we hold the commissioners of police responsible. When they go right, the governors take the praises that go with it. Until we learn to do things the way it ought to. Talking about security.
Oh dear, it does appear that our connection with him is a little poor this morning, but we had been hoping to take on the issue of politics as well, because it does appear that the issue of zoning, while it is coming up within the PDP, and the PDP has finally decided its own presidential elections, usually at the subnational level, the issue of zoning also comes up, as a number of states have now adopted some rotational agreements by which the governorship seats in their state, or the governorship seats in their state, rotate amongst the 3 senatorial districts of the different states that, where zoning is practiced. And Imo State happens to be one of them. And but Mr. Njamanze has been a very strong advocate for Okigwe zone to be back on the saddle after the tenure of Governor Hope Uzodimma. I do not know how your proposal that it is now the turn of Okigwe zone, how is it being received across Imo State?
Unfortunately, my people misunderstand me there. They do. And I said to them, I'm from Owerri zone. I do not see how Owerri zone, without dialoguing with Okigwe, can take over from Hope Uzodimma. Now, the romance might be there. For me, it's a pass. Because Okigwe is as agreed as Owerri, and it was Owerri zone that truncated their term. They are closer to Olu than we are. For me, the best next governor should be from my zone, because I cannot be not there. But if we are talking about equity, we must go to equity with clean hands. The governor has said, and I believe in his wish and desire, that he's succeeded by someone from Owerri zone. Because don't forget, he came in here more like on a rescue mission. We were all suffocated by Rocha's administration. And he came in, we know what he went through. In fact, people still crack the joke about 4. being one. But that was because he was meticulous in knowing what had happened to his numbers. So when you talk about being a strong voice for Okigwe, I am not a strong voice for Okigwe. I'm a strong voice for equity. I'm a strong voice. By my calculation, the only way we can satisfy Okigwe is allowing them a chance. But if we allow that chance, no governor has come there telling you he's going to do one tenure and does one tenure. Because as soon as you sit in there as governor, every other thing you do becomes right. We are all there to shout amen. And I said to them, Okigwe has a candidate that is handicapped by the Constitution. Now, having picked him, it looks as if I am in support of him as an individual. I'm in support of him by circumstance that will benefit Owerri. And that preferred candidate in the circumstances, no point hiding it, is Ikejo Hakim. He wasn't the best of my governors at the time he was in. He performed, but we were not friends. But I'm saying, when you put this whole card on the table, if we are honest and genuine and we want this governorship to get to us, then we allow Okigwe that chance. And in allowing them that chance, we dialogue with them and zero it to one person, the only person we can trust that will do only one tenure and get out of the place. Otherwise, we'll keep flowing. It's fluid.
All right, Mr. Njamanze, I really did wish we had a little more time. Apologies for all of the technical glitches, but we have to thank you very much for speaking with us this morning. We know that we'll continue to keep an eye on political developments in Imo State. Thank you for speaking with us. Mr. Bob Njamanze is an elder statesman in Imo State. Thank you once more.
Thank you. Thank you very much.